So we got what was Space Marine Legends weakness slash flaws. Now, obviously, let's keep it real for what it is. Salamander had no weaknesses. No weaknesses at all. Comment down below the Christmas tree emoji to be entered into the Christmas giveaway that will be revealed on Christmas Day, which is December 25th. If you guys haven't already, if you have already, shout out to you, are already entered into the giveaway. If you haven't, bro, you still got time. You still got what? You got like 20 days. So what you want to do? What you gonna do? You gonna enter in the? You gonna comment down the Christmas tree emoji, be entered in to get a free $30 gift card, or you'll want it. It's okay if you don't want it. You don't gotta take it, but shout out to everybody who did, man. The winner will be revealed on Christmas Day. Other than that, shout out to Majorkill, man, for this video. Let's go.
G'day, guys and gal. When the Emperor was designing the Space Marine Legions and even Primarchs, he wasn't trying to build a tier list to ensure one Legion was better than the others. He wanted a diverse, flexible arrangement of armies that could overcome any obstacle. Some situations that the Raven Guard would struggle with would be perfect for the Iron Hands. Some wars that the Sons of Horus would suffer greatly in.
Ooh, he fired. Pause. No. His armor fire. Not him himself. Y'all gonna put me at, I can just already tell, bro. That King in the Out of Context Part 5. Oh, Lord.
Would be perfect for the Night Lords and so on.
Y'all gonna do me dirty, bro.
This did end up creating a bit of a power ranking, as the legions with the more niche skills were overshadowed by the Dark Angels, Ultramarines, and Sons of Horus, but the idea was solid. However, whilst each legion's strength and purpose was obvious, their weaknesses were less so. Weaknesses that could be massively exploited to tip the scale. So I thought it'd be interesting to check out each Space Marine Legion's greatest weakness. Before we get started, they're Natty plus Space Marine Legions, thus they were one of the most feared, successful, and deadly. However, their weaknesses were born of their mistrust of themselves and others. They were so secretive, even before all the fallen nonsense, that no one really trusted them and they didn't trust anyone else.
Bro, who would trust these guys, bro? I would never trust these dudes, respectfully. Not even just because, how they look or, what colors they're wearing. I would never trust these guys, right? These delinquents, bro. These guys are menaces.
Confused on what the line was trying to do during the heresy, so found him hard to work with the Dark Angels being considered just as much of a wildcard as the White Scars. The consequence of that is that the Dark Angels had way less of an impact on the heresy than they could have, as well as losing Caliban and a huge chunk of the Legion, and even their Primarch. Their mistrusting ways continues to plague them even 10,000 years later. The Emperor's children have as many weaknesses as...
Woo! These dudes right here, bro. Bro, I would assume, I pray that these guys got weaknesses, bro. Because if they didn't have weaknesses, I'm going to keep it real. These guys, bro, these freaky deaky nuisances, these school threats, they'll be too powerful. They got to have some type of weaknesses. The only person that I know that don't have any weaknesses in Warhammer is Vulcan, y'all.
China has people, ass, tits, 9-year-olds, 8-year-olds, men. Women, corpses, coke, heroin, bad music. Anything you shouldn't have a weakness for, other than ass or tits of course, they have. In a more practical sense, they're extremely selfish and self-centered, often a tactical liability when working with other chaos forces, as they all pursue what makes them feel good as a
why do they be having a tongue down here, bro? I know they freaky and stuff like that, y'all, but this is preposterous. See that? I just used a big word. Bro, this is preposterous, bro. Why they got a head and tongue down here? What they be into? This is nasty, bro.
During the Siege of Terra, after one defeat from assaulting the walls, they decided to abandon the siege and just focus on raping and pillaging the civilian population, which, although awful, didn't do much for the traitors' cause. The Emperor's children are also easy to bait into traps due to their arrogance, with thousands dying from such traps that other legions would have avoided.
Man, hey, respectfully, bro, this man is ugly, bro. He got a face only a mother can love. Respectfully.
Their Primarch also mostly abandoned them, causing the Legion to fracture into rival warbands. As a consequence, the Emperor's children have been one of the least effective traitor legions in the current setting. The Iron Warriors are actually pretty solid and objectively don't have many weaknesses. You could argue mobile warfare isn't their specialty, but they do love their tanks, and just because they would lose a jetbike battle to the White Scars doesn't mean it's necessarily a weakness. No, I think their main weakness is just how big of assholes they are to each other and everyone else. They hold next to no love for their fellow battle brothers, with Perturabo happy to throw his sons into meat grinders. No one in turn liked Perturabo and just tried to use him as a tool, which caused a lot of issues, such as the Iron Warriors abandoning the Siege of Terra halfway through, as well as the Iron Warriors having intense rivalries with each other and struggling to come together in large numbers. The White Scars are the most clear-cut with their weaknesses. Any sort of pitch battle, siege defense, attrition warfare, they are pretty shit at. Even their logistics were fucking awful until a woman called Ilia Revalian joined the Legion and whipped them into shape. The White Scars are the kings of hit and run, mobile, fast-paced warfare.
Of course they gonna be better. Of course they gonna be in shape. Of course they gonna get whipped into shape. Bro, woman came through. let's keep it real for what it is, bro. Like, you know, yo, when a girl comes through, bro, it's like a lot of us men, bro. It's like we get like just added motivation, bro. If that makes sense. It's like we just like we gotta be in shape now, bro. You don't want to be all blubbery and just, you know, big back, you know, next to the women. Bro, if a girl comes through, it's like us men naturally, you know, try our best in a lot of these things, you know?
No one can come close, but you put two trench lines in front of each other and they are fucked. Unless, of course, they just storm the enemy trench and kill them all, which is exactly what they would do.
And I'm gonna keep it real for what it is, y'all. How much I wanna bet, you know, the Salamanders is not even in this video? Like, why would they? They have no weaknesses.
The thing is, the White Scars know about their weakness and mitigate it heavily. During the Siege of Terra, they very rarely sat on the walls. That was the job for the Imperial Fists. Instead, they were constantly sallying forth, always counter-attacking, which the traders didn't expect, so it was wildly effective. The Space Wolves' weakness is a bit more obvious than most. They are overly aggressive and often pick fights they cannot win. They only beat the Thousand Sons because of the Custodians and Sisters of Silence intervening. They lost to the Sons of Horus and Leman nearly died. They barely escaped the Alpha Legion fleet. They would have been slaughtered by the Traitor Legions during their last stand if Corvus hadn't arrived and saved them. They always punch above their weight and they don't think things through, often rarely considering the bigger picture or long-term planning. If anything, they often just succeed because they are so fucking girthy, which is their strength. Like, their weakness is countered by the fact—
Did he just call these guys girthy? First of all, pause, bro. This is nasty, wicked work at its finest. Girthy is like, he just called these dudes girthy.
They're so bloody tough. However, the consequences to their weakness was screwing up during the heresy and causing more problems than solutions. Funnily enough, the Imperial Fist's greatest weakness was also their greatest strength. Their stubbornness. These guys were so fucking stubborn, it's wild. They will hold the line until the line itself has been smashed apart, and even then they'll keep holding it. For siege defense, this is amazing.
I'll be stubborn too if my head look like this. Yo, I'll be stubborn too if I ain't have no hair, bro. Now listen, I understand, bro. A lot of us men, you know, maybe some of us is balding right now. I don't want to talk about you, but that's just the reality of the situation. You know, a lot of us men, we will reach this point. And if I ever reach this point, bro, I'm cutting it off, bro. I'm getting a Terry Crews. I'm getting a Steve Harvey. I'm getting a Steve Wilkos. I would never walk around with this little patch of hair like this. Yo, if I had this little patch of hair, whatever, on my head, yo, I'm stubborn too. I'm crashing out too. I'm being what they call it. Yo, what's a male version of a Karen, a Kevin, or whatever, bro? I'll be that.
It has won their battles against near impossible odds. However, it has also unnecessarily killed a shitload of Imperial Fists. The Iron Cage disaster was bred from Rogal Dorn's stubbornness, with even Imperial Fist successor chapters, like the Black Templars, showing just as much stubbornness as their founding legion. They don't really mitigate it, they're just stubborn, and generally it works out more times than it doesn't. The Night Lords are one of the most specialized legions of all. They're extremely good at terror tactics, often able to think outside the box and surprise their opponents, but in literally all other aspects they are weak. Fair pitch battles, they're fucked. Space battle engagements, fucked. Sieges, fucked. Anytime they can't just scare you to death or ambush you, they are fucked. For example, in Sotha, a huge army of Night Lords were held off and smashed by a tiny contingent of Guardsmen, Ultramarines, and Imperial Fists. Like,
that's what they get, yo. That's what they get. Yo, that's what these bums, that's what these idiotic, just animalistic, is that a word? Animalistic bums get, bro. This is what these guys get. Because they think that they're so good, bro. They think that they're so, like, you know, scary and all that. Bro, just because you're ugly does not mean that you're scary, bro. You're ugly to the point where nobody wants to be around you. Not that, oh my god, he's scary. No, you're not scary, buddy. You're not scary. As a matter of fact, bro, I bet all these guys were shoved into lockers at 7 a.m. in high school. They talking about something, they want to be scary. No, these guys was bullied coming up.
Likewise, they were crushed during the Thramis Crusade and then smashed again during the Siege of Sagwelsa.
Y'all taking L after L, bro. No Meek Mill. Y'all taking L after L. This is wicked work at its finest.
And in the current setting, they exist as a scattering of weak warbands. And this is coming from someone that loves the Night Lords. They just spec way too hard into one attribute.
Damn, he got riddled with bullets. Yo, he got lit up like the 4th of July. Look at him. Oh my goodness. Look, y'all.
The Blood Angels are incredibly well-rounded. Even their weakness of the Black Rage has been turned into a strength by them using Berserker death companies to great effect. Their martial skill is astounding, their ferocity near unmatched, their logistics and tactical acumen brilliant. They have had their honourable noble ways exploited and used against them by dirty fighters like the Night Lords in the past, but the Blood Angels aren't opposed to letting their insane Black Rage brothers rip you limb from limb if you piss them off enough. So yeah, I guess the Red Thirst and Black Rage are weaknesses, but since those weaknesses have been mostly mitigated, it explains why the Blood Angels are some of the most effective loyalists in the entire galaxy.
I feel like, I don't know, you know, maybe this is just me or whatever, but like, I feel like the Blood Angels, like, I really don't hear about them, like, losing a lot. I mean, obviously, like, whenever Sanguinius, you know, got his back absolutely, you know, just broken by Horus or whatever, I heard that these guys, like, they just started to just crash out. And I think the biggest weakness, you know, like Majorkill said, would be, like, their Black Rage or whatever. Like, whenever they all start crashing out, that would even, like, crash out on themselves and, you know, take each other out. That's probably, like, a big weakness. That's probably, like, probably their biggest strength and weakness, like, the Black Rage. But at the end of the day, I don't know, like, I rarely hear about these guys ever going out completely, like, really, really bad. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Iron Hands can be summed up by saying that they do not bend, they break. Effective loyalists in the entire galaxy. The Iron Hands can be summed up by saying that they do not bend, they break. They will be unbelievably stoic, powerful, and unmovable, until you fuck them hard enough that they shatter and become a bunch of raging.
Yo, Swiss, bring the list. He's done. Swiss, bring the list right now. Swiss, bring the list. Thank you, Swiss. Appreciate it. How you doing? Good, all right? That's good, bro. Yeah, give me the list. You know what? No. Hold on to the list. Write Majorkill's name 10 times in a row. He's done for. I know, listen, this man Majorkill, he's on 4 different lists, bro. He's on all 4 of my, he's on all 4 of my school threat lists. These lists, yo, if you make it onto this list, bro, I don't care if you're a commenter, I don't care if you're a content creator, if you make it on these lists, bro, you will be in jail for life, bro. Straitjacket treatment. Yeah, bro. Put him on a list entirely. What is he talking about?
Stoic, powerful, and unmovable, until you fuck them hard enough that they shatter and become a bunch of raging retards. After Ferris died, the Iron Hands became an insanely effective guerrilla force that attacked trader supply lines, doing the damage of a legion with only a fraction of that.
Oh my goat! Look at y'all, look at my goats, y'all. Look at him, look at him. Look at my goats, bro. Yo, look how he just got it. Yo, look. He got, first of all, he got his foot on bro's back. Like, yo, just stand there, bro. Like, bro, you better not even shake or move. You better not vibrate like a controller. Yo, if I twist my ankle off for doing this, I'm putting rounds in your head. Yo, he legit got his leg on bro's neck like yeez. He got his leg on his neck like yeez while shooting the gun. That's player-ish, bro. This is GOAT-ish. Can't nobody else do this. Nobody. Everybody else on this screen is bums besides this dude right here, bro.
However, there was a huge cultural divide within them. Some Iron Hands wanted to abandon the heresy and go into isolation. Others wanted to reform the Legion and stand by their loyalist brothers on Terra. The divide was so great that the ones that wanted to abandon the heresy betrayed the others, fucked their war effort, and got a bunch of them killed. Their distaste for flesh and weakness is in itself a weakness, making them extremely rigid, unversatile, and exploitable, which explains why they're such a minor footnote in the current setting. For the World Eaters, it's an easy one. Their extreme rage and berserker tendencies means they basically just bum-rush the enemy with no heed for their safety. Their logistics are also a total mess, so have a lot of issues with resupply and recruitment. Not to mention they're always killing each other in gladiatorial matches. Now there is very little that can defeat a World Eater charge if it crashes into your lines, as they try let their strengths overshadow their weaknesses. However, there isn't many World Eaters left in the setting, and there's no surprise why.
And I know this is like a weird thought, but like I know his farts are... Bro's farts are like atomic bombs, bro. Like, I don't know why I just thought of that, like, just looking at bro. Man, but I could just tell, bro. Like, you can definitely tell he needle up. You can definitely tell, bro, he uses all types of steroids and all types of drugs. Look at his arm, bro. Look at his forearm. His forearm fat. He got that Brock Lesnar forearm. You can tell he definitely be juicing up. You know, he definitely be, you know, putting the belt around his arm and, you know, let's keep it real. You know, like, just look at him, bro. Like, his face starting to deteriorate. He got purple hair. Come on, bro. Like,
During the Siege of Terra, they racked up both the highest kill and highest death tally of all the legions present. The Ultramarines are extremely well-rounded. They are not the best at anything beyond logistics, which to be fair is super important in war, but they are also not the worst at anything. Some people may think they're too organized and rigid, allowing for creative methods to exploit them, but this isn't the case. The Ultramarines are extremely adaptable, versatile and creative themselves. This versatility allowed them to counter-attack and win the war in Calth despite such a devastating start. It's also why they managed to counter both the World Eaters and Wordbearers during the Shadow Crusade and still be considered so deadly that the traders were trying to rush the Siege of Terra to avoid being caught between the Ultramarines and the defenders of Terra. If one legion was said to be without true weakness, it would be the Ultramarines. The Death Guard, even before they became Plague Marines, were implacable, like a slow-moving but inevitable tide of death. They were resilient as hell. However, since becoming Plague Marines, their strengths have become stronger, but as did their weaknesses, that being them being incredibly slow. They move slow, they attack slow. Sure, it's awesome to be able to tank 5 times more bolt rounds than a normal Space Marine, but if every bolt lands because you move slow and can't dodge for shit, then you'll still die, especially when compared to the White Scars who can dodge and weave. The Death Guard are easily outmaneuvered, and it was really fascinating seeing them go up against the White Scars. Two entirely different strengths and weaknesses. Resilient but slow versus fragile but fast. The winner was the White Scars, who ensured the battle would be fought on their terms. The Thousand Sons are another easy one, with their strength being their master of the warp also being their weakness. The Thousand Sons had the most potential of all legions, but they were crushed first. That is because when their strength was taken away via the Sisters of Silence, they were literally just weak. They aren't very good warriors without the warp. As soon as the warp was gone, the wolves tore into them. Their reliance on the warp also created another weakness, the flesh change, which was fixed by turning most of them into dusty zombie robot automata. Yeah, the Thousand Sons are a mess, mostly because they use the warp as a crutch.
but also, like, these guys, like, they're weirdos. Like, bro, the Thousand Sons, bro, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like they were like the perfect villain in, like, Space Marine 2, but, everything else, I don't know, bro. It's something that, you ever, like, look at something and it just makes you, like, shake and just, like, makes you scratch? That's what the Thousand Sons do for me, bro. Like, every time I look at them, I just scratch uncontrollably, bro. Like, honestly, bro, you would have thought I was Victor Sass around here, bro. Like, the amount of, like, scratch marks that I got looking at these dudes. Like, it's crazy.
Sons of Horus were often cited as the greatest of all legions, but they were also the only legion to actually go extinct and become disbanded. So what happened? Well, despite their might and power, it was their hubris and feeling of superiority that ended them. The Saturnine Gambit was the best example. The best and brightest of the Sons of Horus thought they could end the siege in a single decapitation strike, but instead lost literally all of their named characters and elite units by Abaddon. Post-heresy, everyone blamed them and turned on them, with the Sons of Horus feeling directionless and even turning to possession via demons for some reason. If Abaddon never came back to lead them, it's likely pretty much the entire bloodline would have died out. The Wordbearers, when actually put to the task, were a mighty legion.
Bro, he looks like, bro, every time I see this, he looks like Sylvester Stallone, bro. He looks like Rocky. Yo, let me know if I'm wrong. Don't he look like Rocky?
However, in a
He
similar
looks
way
like
to how the
Rocky.
Thousand Sons
Rocky
relied on the warp,
Balboa.
the Wordbearers begun relying too much on their demonic allies. They stopped trying to solve things
Adrian!
tactics, logistics, and brilliance, and instead were like, how many demons can we throw at this problem? Which does work, unless you cannot summon demons at the time, or those demons are being assholes, which is pretty common. In the lore, whenever the Wordbearers didn't have help from their demonic allies, they got fucked on extremely hard. The Salamanders were pretty fiery.
Whoa, hold up. Let me check my...
Didn't have help from their demonic allies, they got fucked on extremely hard. The Salamanders were pretty fiery.
This must be a mistake. Am I on the right video? What was each Space Marine Legion's weakness / flaw? No, man. Majorkill! You got this wrong, bro. Like, What? Whoa, hold up.
But may have specced a bit too hard into that short-range combustible combat style. They always fought at close range despite not having the same ferocity as the World Eaters or Space Wolves. They were also maybe too compassionate for the innocent, making them exploitable by doing fucked up war crimes on civilians.
No. That's not a weakness. I disagree with this, yo. Whoa, that's not a weakness, though. How is being kind and being considerate and... No, that's not a weakness. And even if somebody do take advantage of that even if somebody do take advantage of you being nice to people, whatever, that's not a weakness. That's just that's that other person. You gotta shame them. That's not being nice to people, whatever, and helping them out. and somebody that could potentially, like, you know, exploit that and make you and blackmail you and make you do like whatever, that's not a weakness on your end. You're just being an amazing human being. You're just being like an amazing, you know, like Space Marine, like, you know, Legion. Like that's what you are. Like there's nothing weak about that. The person that's exploiting or whatever, bro, that's an evil, just a-hole. There's no weakness about that. Like, what do we like? Why is my goats in this video? Why are the goats in this video?
In saying that the salamanders didn't have anything too obvious in the weakness department, maybe their overall small legion size even prior to the Horus Heresy. The Raven Guard were the master.
Bro, the less the better. Bro, the less the better, bro. You ever heard that song from Tame Impala? The less I know. Oh, sorry. Oh, it's the less I know, the better.
Of stealth and shock and awe. They almost became deadlier after they lost most of their legion in the Isfahan dropsite massacre, as breaking up into smaller warbands suited their style greatly. However, on the flip side, asking them to hold the line like an Imperial Fist would be a terrible idea, which was evident when Horus ordered the Raven Guard to hold Gate 42 during the Great Crusade, causing mass casualties as the Raven Guard were completely out of their element. Now for the Alpha Legion. Although masters of deception and sabotage,
I wish they was good, bro. Their armor color and design is so fire, bro. Like, I wish these guys was good, bro. Maybe that's just me, but yeah.
Alpha Legion is actually pretty well rounded. Their ultimate weakness is making things overly complicated. They would rather choose a more difficult, costly, and risky solution because of style points rather than what is most obvious and easy. Now this is cool, but it's also cost them a lot. Alpharius died doing this, as has dozens of thousands of other Alpha Legionnaires. In the current setting, they're so confused and divided over what they're supposed to be doing that they are now made up of dozens of different warbands with different objectives. So just remember, whenever you feel shit about yourself, even demigod super soldiers from the 42nd millennium aren't perfect. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then
that was it, bro. Shout out to Majorkill, man, for this video. I don't even know why the Salamanders was even in here, but like, I mean, that was just, you know, a mistake on Majorkill's part. Y'all comment down below, you know, why do you think he put the Salamanders in this video, y'all? Like, that was really kind of, you know, immature, but and you know, wrong. But shout out to Majorkill anyway, man. Make sure you guys comment down below a Christmas tree emoji to be entered into the Christmas giveaway. We got about 20 days, so you got like a lot of time, but at the same time, bro, that clock is ticking. Other than that, man, see you later. Thanks on them out. Peace out, y'all.